everybody shows up, dark 36 a.m. We all get loaded up in the trailer, and we roll out. Get up over the top of the hill, expecting some kind of weird traffic and weather, but didn't really hit anything. I think the roads were a little bit icy, but nothing we couldn't handle. So it was pretty cold, and so we were starting to get, a hint of what was coming. We went down the hill, pulled in, met at the place, got everything sorted out, met the client, and got kind of started from there. So we started with the hard part first. It's always the hard part first. I don't know what that is, but to me, I always feel like if you do the hard part first, everything else from there on out is kind of easy. So the hard part was getting everything to the top of the hill. So even where the parking lot's located at the Vintage Hotel. Another 100 feet up from the parking lot is the top of the hill where the Hill House is, and then we were going to be working at a pole at the top of that. So we still needed our lift to show up, we still needed all of our gear to show up, and then we had to heave-ho everything up to the top of that hill. We're going from 4,200 feet altitude here at the shop, which we're all kind of used to, and then we go up to 9,200, 9,300 feet, which is another 5,000 feet higher than where we are now. I mean, talk about it, 5,200 feet is a mile, so we're like just about a mile higher up than we are here, which is, think about it. The rest of that day was getting the brackets on the pole.
Okay, here's us tightening this up. It's about 25, so I think that's pretty good. I'm looking at liking where we are with it.
Yep.
Alright, there's two of them. Looking pretty good.
Yep.
And then if we look down here,
and we're going to leave these two.
Yeah, that all went together. In fact, you could see by the end of that day one, we had that first tower up, lighted, powered. Probably didn't get out of there till a good 8:30 at night, but what was amazing is everything worked right out of the box.
so it gets super dark out here. I mean, if you can see off behind me in the mountains, it's going to be super dark when I kill all these run lights. And if you can kind of see behind me too, a little bit of color cutting through. So it's going to be awesome.
This is a great day. We're having some amazing stuff happen here. Okay, hard part done. Little did I know. Little did I know.
Okay, so we're commuting to work on a gondola. So we got Mark over here, Mike and Tina in the back. And this is the view. I mean, actually fly over the top of the place we're working here. So that's where we're working. See our lift back down there. There's the lift. So yeah, this is gonna be pretty good.
The next day, we were expecting it to be a little colder, maybe a little bit windier, but boy did we get a earful and a face full of what was reality. So we get back to the job site, and we were kind of hemming and hawing because the wind had picked up and the temperature was not coming up above about 10 degrees. And the wind is 30 miles an hour.
Flipping hurricane just came through, but I don't know if we're catching it now. But yeah, man, it was snowy everywhere.
And so you could see in some of the spaces where we're just getting blown away, we're getting squalls of windstorms coming through and whiteouts in certain places. The sun would come out because it'd break through the clouds because the clouds are just ripping through there at 50 miles an hour.
Alright, so I don't know if you can hear me, but one of the cool things about Colorado is look at these clouds back here. The clouds are just ripping past up that hill.
And these snow squalls are blasting us. I've got my beard all frozen up and in my trapper hat and every kind of layer that I could be in. So we just get in and start going. One of the ways that day, since we're now working at the bottom of the hill, the only access to restrooms was to jump on the magic carpet and go up the hill. So here's this nice treadmill. It takes you right to the top. You just stand on it and ride the top. It's really great.
We're going up.
And they were like, well, the only way to get back down there is to jump on a tube. So we're like, oh, okay. You could probably walk down. And in fact, we did most of the time. But, when there was not a ton of guests that day, we went up and jumped on a tube and rode it down. So it was pretty fun.
I gotta roll over to get out. That was funny. Back to work, I guess. That's how you do it. Back to work, right?
And then the guys right after lunch decided they wanted to put up the brackets and the poles, so they went and got those brackets and stuff up in place, and that was great. And then from there, we wrapped that day because it just felt like, you know, every bit of our effort that we worked was like you would work an hour and get like 10 minutes worth of actual effectiveness done because you're just freezing. We went ahead and called it a night when it started getting dark, double checked that everything was working still, and hit the sack. Next morning we get up and it's 4 degrees outside. The wind was not blowing, the sun was coming out, so we were super happy about that.
The high temperatures going on right now, we are probably at 20 degrees. We're a little bit past 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's taking a little bit of time because you get up there about 15-20 feet in the air and it's flipping freezing. So those guys now are putting the hand warmers in and kind of warming up here down at the bottom, so I'll go check in and see how they're doing. Okay, everybody's flying out. Heading back up now so we can get these fixtures up. It looks like we've got about 6 fixtures up in place out of 20. They'll be adding the rest of those here shortly. Throwing some power on them, getting the controls up. So we got a little bit of work, probably an hour or so before we start seeing light in those guys. Pretty happy with where we're at. And the nice part is the weather is still pretty good. 17 degrees, literally no wind, but the sun's out. So, okay, so looks like everybody's just got the fixtures up there, so everything's looking good. I think we have one last fixture on one side, plus a controller. So, all that being said, I'm losing a little bit of daylight, but I think we're all configured, ready to rock and roll. I'll go touch base with these guys, see where everything's at. Go from there. Still a beautiful day.
So we went ahead and took some dinner, and we were expecting everything to just go smooth like it did the night before. And this is where it always goes hard part first, right? So you go in, and the first day, if you remember, I said, sounded like it was really easy. Like, oh my gosh, the computer just hooked up and the lights came on and everything just worked and we set the numbers and it was easy. Not that night. When we come back from dinner, go to power it up and it doesn't work. Like, you've got to be kidding me.
And in the dark, and it had to be down to the wire, freezing our butts off, and polarity wire was wrong. Let me go up the hill. Catch you in a sec.
Mark hands me the controller. We plug it in. As it boots, it takes about 15 seconds to boot, and it boots and like all the lights come on. We're like, yes!
So we're all good. There is the light bay. Everything is working. Finally. And then here is the hillside. Really, the camera's not doing it quite the justice that it is in real life, so it's kind of interesting. Just because there's a lot more foot candles down here below, but there'll be a lot more up the hill. Super happy, super proud to be a part of this. It looks super good. I can't believe it. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and praying for some massive success for these guys up here so we can start to see a new level of winter attractions in Colorado. So if you guys wanted something to do this winter, really actually every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all the way through January, come up here and go tubing. Thanks to Winter Park for allowing us to be a part of this project. And thanks to Dickinson Electric for helping me get all the power stuff put together. And thanks to all my crew, Tina, Mike, and Mark. Those guys are rock stars out here in the flipping cold wind and everything you saw us in yesterday. And we'll be back. Winter Park once again, knocking it out of the park in our amazing, cool, cosmic tubing light hill at Winter Park, Coca-Cola Tubing Hill. All right, guys, talk to you soon. See you on the next project. Been fun.